What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers offense is struggling mightily. And I mean, that's putting it nicely. Now, I'm sure that there are some factors that go into it, right? Like injuries. And with those injuries, it's hard to really get a flow, kind of lock down your rotation, guys building chemistry, things like that. And also the biggest factor is guys just not hitting shots, right? You have your three top volume three-point shooters in LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell, all shooting the ball atrocious. You have D'Lo, who is the high of the three, and what a high it is with 32%. Then you have LeBron with 31% and Austin Reeves with 28.5%. And those three guys are literally equaling half of your three-point attempts. You're not going to be a good offensive team when your three main guys that are shooting at volume are unable to hit the shot. Now, you hope that D'Lo and Reeves can kind of get back to normal. Like last season, they were both 40% from three. So hopefully they can kind of find that spark. LeBron, he's always kind of been a streaky shooter, right? So you're not really expecting him to be lights out shooting the three ball. But it's also just a lot of just hero ball and lack of movement. And we're going to touch on that here more in a second. But like you look at the Lakers offensive rating, it's 106.6. You're not winning very many games scoring 106 points per game, right? And you look at all the other teams that are struggling, they're all kind of in that same ballpark, right? And you look at the teams that are doing really good, right? Like the surprise team is the Indiana Pacers, and they're literally leading the league with 121.5. That is good enough to even be the best offense last year, which was the Sacramento Kings at 120. So you have the Indiana Pacers just lighting it up. But look, is that sustainable for Indiana? We'll see, right? Like they had a good start last season, then kind of trickled off. So we'll find out, right? Their defense is terrible. They're like 26th in the league defensively. So that's where their record comes in. But you look at like the other top teams in the league right now, and you have like, the Denver Nuggets, the Dallas Mavericks, the Warriors. You have the Boston Celtics, right? The Philadelphia 76ers. Those five teams are all 117 to 118 offensive rating. The Lakers last season were like 116, which would put them essentially in the top 7 to 10 this season if they could get back to that. But a lot of it is just the lack of flow in the offense. But they do have moments of brilliance. They have shown real flashes of a competent offense, right? Like in preseason, and I know some people are going to look at it like, well, not everything in preseason translates. The way they were playing does, right? The Lakers were sharing the basketball, lighting teams up, looking just absolutely brilliant on the offensive side. Guys were also hitting shots, but they were moving the basketball. They had literal games where they had 30 assists. And that's how you generate offense. In the watch-along stream against the Rockets when they were getting blown out, right? People always talk about, the Lakers don't run plays. They do run plays constantly. And every time that they do, something good happens. Every time they run an actual set and you get movement and all that stuff, all of a sudden you get an easy bucket. And we've seen it on countless occasions in every game. But then the Lakers start defaulting rather than running sets and running plays. And I'm not saying you have to run a play every single possession, because no team runs a play every single possession. There are the ups and flows of the game. There are broken plays. There are all kinds of factors that go into just the offensive flow, right? You're not going to go and set a play every single possession. But more times than not, something good happens, right? But even when they're not running sets and plays, there's no movement. It's just LeBron James driving to the basket or taking an early three. Or it's Austin Reeves dribbling the ball and doing too much and either turning it over or taking a tough contested shot looking to draw the foul rather than a good shot. Or D'Lo stepping into, some early shot clock three. Right? There's no real ball movement unless they are running actual sets. Which again, you're not going to run every single possession. Sometimes you do want to just give the ball to LeBron and let him make decisions. Or D'Lo, let him make decisions. Which D'Lo has actually been very good this year in that department. When D'Lo is actually playing point guard, right, and not off the ball or not bringing the ball up and then just giving it up, and he's actually able to run the offense, the Lakers have a lot of success. Because even when they're not running sets, he's getting guys set up. He's running pick and roll. He's calling out stuff for guys to do. He's getting nice little cuts and passes. LeBron has those moments too. LeBron's been good at that as well. But mostly Austin Reeves has not done a good job of that at all, which Austin Reeves has talked all offseason about how badly he wants to run and play make and be on the ball more and make those decisions of scoring and passing. But he's not actually making those efforts. He's not actually making those strides. He's just looking for his shot. Now, some of that may just be his struggles right now, and he's frustrated, and he's trying to find his rhythm, which is okay, but then he shouldn't be handling the ball heavily, right? And at some point, you got to get away from just the lack of offense, right? You look at teams like Denver. They're constantly moving the ball, pushing the ball. Like, the ball rarely sticks. Rarely do they have a possession where only one guy touches the basketball. But the Lakers have countless of those possessions. The Warriors are like famous for that, right? And have goals of literally trying to get 30 assists a game. And they have guys like Chris Paul that, yes, they do just allow him to run the offense at times, but then they do run a lot of times where the ball's just not sticking. And guys are sharing the basketball. But again, you look at these teams that are struggling, team like the Clippers. Clippers are struggling mightily. They're not sharing the basketball. It's funny how you can equate a lot of just the issues, and they're very similar, right? For all teams that are struggling, right? When Kawhi gets the basketball, more times than not, you know that shot's going up. It doesn't keep moving. The ball just sticks. A lot of isolation. Right? Like, you look at the teams that are heavy ISO, Chicago. It's a lot of, here's DeMar DeRozan with the basketball. Here's, Zach LaVine with the basketball. The ball isn't moving. The ball is sticking. Right? And sometimes you need that. But here's the problem too. The Lakers don't have that over-the-top shooting. Right? Like, you can do isolation plays more frequent if you had a guy like a Kyrie Irving or DeMar DeRozan. Now, somebody like that can just get to their spots, shoot over the top of the defender. We don't really have that. Like, D'Lo and Reeves can do it at times, but they're not great. They're better at, just creating space, shooting, pulling up, knocking down the mid-range, knocking down the open shot, or getting to the rim. They don't apply a ton of rim pressure, but they are capable of being 3-level scorers. But they're not great at just shooting over the top of the defense like somebody like a DeMar DeRozan or a Kyrie Irving. So a lot of times you're getting bad shots and a lot of heavy isolation. It's just not a formula for success. The Lakers are running the 5-out offense, which is fine if guys are hitting shots. If D'Lo and Reeves and everybody were knocking down, 38 to 40%, then you could probably do that. Because the idea is to have those lanes open for a guy like LeBron James to go downhill. But it also is hard when you don't have anyone else other than LeBron that really applies rim pressure. That's where somebody like a Dennis Schroeder or a Lonnie Walker or something like that would really make an impact with this offense, right? And I've seen people go, oh, we need to go back to the 4-out, 1-in offense. Like, that's great if guys hit shots. People are like, oh, I've seen a lot of people mention the offense was much better last season when we were running the 1-in, 4-out. Yes, you're right, it was. But it's not because they were running the 1-in and 4-out. It's because Austin Reeves was shooting 40%, and D'Lo was shooting almost 42%, and you had guys that could knock down shots. So when they're on the court and they're spread wide and they're generating the offense, like, yes, you can run those sets. You can run the 5-out if D'Lo gets back to 40% and Reeves gets back to 40%. Then everything gets fixed. I mean, offenses always look great when guys are hitting shots. You can run the Princeton offense. You can run, the triangle. You can run whatever offense you want if guys are hitting shots, because it just makes things so difficult for the defenses. But when you're not hitting shots, it doesn't matter what you run, right? You're just not going to have the effect on the offensive side. Lakers haven't been as bad defensive. Like, people are acting like the Lakers are just like the worst defensive team in the league. They're not. They're not great by any stretch. Don't get me wrong. They're not out here just number one defense in the league again. But they are, they're about, they're currently like a 113.8, which is essentially middle of the pack. But here's the thing. They were that last year, and then Vando came back, and they jumped to number one. So Vando's going to help a lot on the defensive side, a lot. And then also once they get Gabe Vincent back, he'll help as well. So I'm not worried about the defense as much as I am worried about the offense. It also doesn't help that they gave up like 138 points or whatever it was to the Houston Rockets, right? Like, that's going to hurt your defensive rating as well. So again, I'm not like super concerned about the defense, but I am concerned about the offense right now, right? You gotta, the way that you fix the lack of offense is you share the basketball and you get the best shots possible. That's how you do it, right? You move the basketball, you have constant action, right? You're running the pick and roll, which has been absolute money, which is why I don't know why we don't do it more, right? Like, keep running the pick and roll until until people stop it, right? Like, if you could get a possession, if you could get a bucket every possession running the pick and roll with D'Lo and LeBron, or D'Lo and AD, or D'Lo and Hayes and whomever, like, keep doing it. I don't know why we like to go away from that, right? But like, the thing is that like when you're sharing the basketball, it constantly is keeping the defense on their toes, right? So when the ball doesn't stick, which LeBron has to do a better job of that also. Like, you look at the playoffs, LeBron was sharing the basketball. I mean, so much so even the commentators were screaming out like, dude, when was the last time you saw LeBron just give the ball up that early into the shot clock and stuff, right? Because LeBron is usually the system. LeBron is usually the orchestrator of the offense. But LeBron needs to be willing to give it up quicker, right? Keep things moving. Keep constant action. Keep the defense on their toes. Same thing with D'Lo, same thing with Reeves, same thing with everybody, right? Like, I'm not saying, again, LeBron, you can't run sets where LeBron is on the ball and he's making all the decisions. That's fine. That's okay. LeBron has won championships, is one of the greatest players ever at that. But you're not going to be able to rely heavily on that because teams know how to slow that down now, right? They just pack paint, let them shoot. Let everyone shoot, right? And then crash the rebounds because the Lakers are going back, which is fine because the Lakers are trying to fix the transition defense. And it's worked. They've been very good in transition defense. But when the ball is just D'Lo brings it up, passes it to Reeves, it's back to D'Lo, and then D'Lo takes a shot. Or, it's D'Lo brings it up, passes it to Rui or LeBron, and they take a shot. Like, there's no movement. Like, you're too predictable. The defense doesn't have to work. You're not putting any pressure on the defense. But when you have constant action and constant movement and, guys are just cutting and, you have all this motion, it makes it so much easier for your offense because at some point there is going to be a break in that defense and which now you can capitalize on and you generate an easy bucket. And again, it helps when guys are hitting shots too, because then when you do have those moments where things are sticking, right? If D'Lo's hitting his shots, it's not really much of a concern, right? When D'Lo's on and he takes those shots, it's a good shot because he's on. But when he's not on, which has been more times than not, it's a terrible shot. Same thing with Reeves, same thing with LeBron, and I'm using those three primarily as an example because they are literally half of our attempts. Half of them between three guys. Like, when that happens, those are the guys that have to be better. And those are your three main playmakers. LeBron, D'Lo, and Reeves. They're your three main playmakers. And they're the 3 guys that are shooting you out of games. Got to correct that. They got to start hitting shots, for one. More so D'Lo and Reeves. Because, again, you're not going to count on LeBron to shoot 40% from 3. He can do it for a game, or a couple games, or he's had stretches, but you're not expecting him to be a 40% three-point shooter. You are expecting D'Lo and Reeves to do that. And they were just that last year. So it's not like, they just came to the Lakers, so now they suck. Like, no. We've seen them do it for the Lakers. We got to fix the offense. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? Do you think we need more movement, more action? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. You guys are awesome. See you all in the next one.